You got me with the finger. Well, good morning. I'm one of the organizers here at 1 Million Cups. My name is Austin. I see some new faces this morning. I like this. We need more new faces because we got a bunch of chairs. Well, I guess the amount of chairs won't matter next week. So Lowell will tell you more about that here in a minute. Next slide. That's some of the other organizers here. You only see 3 of us here this morning because we are committed, right? We're always here. It's always us. And here are some of the sponsors. As I mentioned, S&B, Granny Schaefer's just got the coffee, though that may change after today. Again, details to come. You see them doing a teasing, so you got to stay the whole time now. And I think
forward already.
Anxiously awaiting.
Ooh,
And I believe, do you have, nope. No slides
No.
for him, or you got to switch them?
No, get those slides.
We're going to hear from the unpermitted project. Hey, you got to sound that out.
No. The
Non. See, I told Lowell, I said I wanted to say the non, the un.
The
Did that. I knew I was gonna do that.
non, the,
Gosh, I knew I was gonna do that. I apologize.
this is driving me insane already. Alright. Are you ready for me?
Yep.
Okay. So we're gonna do something a little interactive first. I didn't know how many to bring, so I'm just gonna hand some out, but I'm gonna talk while I'm doing it. So I'm Kyle Tracy, founder of the Non-Permitted Project. One of our biggest focal points, and I will always come back to it, is we raise awareness for mental health. Whether it be providing somewhere for expression, providing resources, or just simply having a group hangout night. There you go. Group hangout night where just come, simply exist with people in the community and have conversation. Pretty straightforward. I don't have a whole lot today. I got about 30 minutes. I'm going to break everything down, what we do in that time, and allow you to have some questions at the end. Three core pillars to what we do. The first one is probably what we're known more for, and it's our monthly events. There is not a month that we don't have some form of event, whether it be an open mic, a group hangout night of expression, where I have local artists who don't qualify to get into art venues come set up and showcase their art for the first time. I'll do them at the back of Joplin for Bookhouse Cinema. We actually have a curated wall at Bookhouse Cinema where if somebody wants to try and sell their art for the first time and they have it in a frame, we can put it up on that wall so it can be shown then at their own little art venue. I'm a big proponent on the expression side of things. I'm a musician. I've been playing, I think piano now is like 18, 19 years now, since I almost couldn't see over the piano. The expression was one thing that got me through some of the darkest times. I'm a suicide attempt survivor. I have been down in the trenches. And one of the things that kept me going was having a keyboard in my room with headphones. I could get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and just make some music. So that's one of the things we do is we provide a safe place for expression. Doesn't matter what it is. On our open mics, we have everything from poetry to musicians. Somebody one time came with a recorder that they still had from high school and they still remembered one song and they were ecstatic that they got to play it. We had a drummer. Oh, there we go. Echo. We had a drummer come one time and I knew him from around and he didn't know that he could just set his drum set up there and just crash on the drums for a little while. And we wanted to make sure that he got up there, got to showcase his expression, and it was actually really impressive. And he had never had the opportunity to play just his drums and not with a band before. He was really excited about that. So monthly events is one of our biggest things. We want the community to know that we're going to be there in some aspect in the Joplin area. We had a coloring night 2 months ago, and one of our board members printed out a whole bunch of coloring sheets and brought coloring pencils and crayons, and we just hung that at the back of Joplin Avenue and had conversation and colored. Just a nice time to restart. Second thing that we do is we provide social media boosts. We like to showcase people's expression, no matter the medium, on all of our media pages, our Facebook, Instagram, and website. If you go to thenonpermittedproject.com, it's very convenient, you will actually find, if you can scroll down for your little, keep going. We're going to skip these two, come back to them. There we go. So this is a local singer-songwriter. Her name is Lauren McKay. I found her at an open mic one time, like 3-4 years ago. And she was way too good to not be doing things professionally. So what we did was we actually took her under our wing, and we started curating events and having her open those events and playing professionally on a stage for pay and get her excited about things. Since we started doing that, she actually created her own band and has started helping other musicians learn the trade. Because I'm a construction guy. I've been doing construction all my life. It's a trade, but also music is a trade. There's a certain balance to everything. There's a certain finesse you have to have. You can't be near as gruff. But we got her started, and she's actually producing music now. She has stuff up on Spotify and everywhere. The cool thing about her is we promote free of charge. We don't ask for anything in return. We like for them to put their Cash App, their Venmos, in their description area. We like to know why they make music. We like a little description. Maybe it helped them this song helped them get through a hard time, or this was a really, really bad breakup, and this is why I wrote this song. Then we also always like to ask if there's a nonprofit of their choosing that they want to sponsor, partner with. So say somebody wants to support that thought of somebody comes up with a song or poetry or photography about suicide awareness, and they're trying to bring awareness to that topic. And maybe somebody's scrolling through our website and hits a heart chord, and they want to support the cause. They're not as comfortable supporting the individual person, but maybe as an overall, they might be more likely to support the overall cause. We always like to ask if there's that nonprofit that they can support. And so we include the links, the hyperlinks in all of their descriptions if there are nonprofits of their choosing. We feature photography, literature, whether it is poetry or books. We're getting somebody on here. She was actually one of my pianists in college, and she just wrote a book recently, and we're going to be getting her up here quite shortly. If you can scroll back up to that first little spot on the Foster Adopt. So one thing about us is, while we're supporting expression, we're also want to support our community. We're always partnering with local nonprofits. We've done Foster Adopt, we've done the Alliance, we have done the ROCC, we've done quite a few, and Black Box International. Our signature events, we always raise money for them. We only might make them $100, but we always like to give back in some aspect, because we aren't here to compete. The other people do what we do. We are not here to say that we do it better than you. We just want our community to be as fast as it can, and sometimes that just takes another resource. If you'll scroll all the way to the top for me. So, this is our tagline. Cornerstone effort is to bring mental health to a tabletop discussion by promoting a safe place for expression. That's what we do. The third thing I'm going to get into is we provide resources. That's kind of the thing that I take on more, is resource provisions. So if you need a state-issued ID, we can bridge that gap and help you get a state-issued ID without having to spend all of that time just spinning wheels and not knowing where to go, who to connect you to. We take the question out of it. You come to us and say, hey, I have BPD and I need my prescriptions filled, and the clinic has a lot of fall through with their therapist, and I can't get my medication for the next 3 months. What do I do? We partnered with a local physician, and he's got some questionnaires and pamphlets and things to fill out so that you can go in, be seen that day, and get your medication. You take your prescription bottle and they make a couple phone calls, you fill out these forms, and you get your BPD medications that day. You walk out with it. They have wholesale medication in-house for a fraction of the cost. I actually did some blood work there not too long ago. 3 vials testing my kidney function, and it only cost me $12. And I had everything back in 48 hours with an email explaining what the numbers were and why they were that way. And the lady in there, she's great with a sticker needle. I didn't even feel it, and I hate needles. But when I say we provide resources, we provide an unbiased, we're very unbiased about the resources we provide. If you need religious counseling, we've got some awesome partners at some local churches that we can refer you to for religious counseling. We have some counselors at Ozark Center and Access Family Care if that's where you're more leaning. We don't care your race, sexual orientation. We see you as human beings, and we want to take care of you and help you be the best version of yourself you can be. When I say non-biased, any resource that we bring to the table, say we bring an LGBT resource to the table, we also bring a religious one to the table. We want to tailor all of our resources to the needs of the community. We just got onboarded on the Unitas Care platform. So what that platform looks like is they're growing. I believe they have over 200 resources available to them. And what it looks like is if you need rental assistance, utility assistance, because you can't afford to make your payments, they've got a program for that. They can get you hooked up and set up, and you can get things paid off. You can get that deposit paid off that you've been waiting and you have no electricity. State issued IDs, specialists, they have a whole list of specialists where if you go through the Unitas Care platform, you get things at a fraction of the cost as you would just making your own appointment and going out of your own pocket. We have a lot going on. Let's see. I think I summed it up all really too quick. Let's get some questions going here. Yes?
So why non-permitted project? Where does the name come from?
The non-permitted project comes from, it started during COVID. I've been tossing this idea around since 2017. 2017 is when I actually, shortly after my last suicide attempt, and realized that there wasn't a good conversation going in the community.
Really?
And I wanted to create that conversation. But you're not really permitted to walk up to somebody that you don't really know all that well. You've seen them in passing a couple times, and you can't really say, hey, how are you? How are your family? How is your mental health doing? It's more of a, how's that thing going that Did you ever see somebody about that? I mean, can we talk about that? It's always been hush hush. It's been not permitted to speak about. During COVID, during lockdown, I think if you didn't struggle with something before, you might have struggled with something during COVID, whether it be a mental health injury from past, or for the first time you're locked indoors and you can't go to work and you have to be with your 5 kids and your wife and everything is going wrong, your AC goes out and you can't get somebody out here, and there's that little stress level. During COVID, mental health was actually being spoken about on the news. It wasn't those 30-second blurbs. It wasn't just the little title running along the bottom of the screen. It was actually being talked about. It was permitted to speak about again. So while that pendulum was swinging that direction, I'm trying to do what my father would say, take it and chuck it out in the yard. Taking that pendulum, and we're trying to not let it swing backwards. Because we're losing people every day. I don't know the exact statistic. I should have looked it up before it came. But if I had multiple suicide attempts before college and had that understanding with myself of, obviously it's not working, so let's try something else. The non-permitted project, mental health was a non-permitted subject. It's considered taboo. Just like anxiety. If you have anxiety in the workplace, I'm a general contractor, that's what I do full time, 40, 60 hours a week. I have anxiety about whether my project is going to get done on time, deadline, whether we're going to meet that budget, or holy crap, the material just skyrocketed and just ate all of the extra the overages percentages. What do? I have to have a conversation with somebody. Oh my goodness. There's always that. We're humans. We have a brain, and our brain tells us that we are human. So to answer your question, the non-permitted project, we are trying to make it a permitted project.
So Kyle, I have a question. So I know you've been doing this for a couple of years and you presented before, but like over the last year, how has what you're doing changed? But also, is this something that's self-funded, or do you get grants, or how's that work? And then do you have like trained counselors to help these people, or?
So
that's a lot of questions, but.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll hit them all real quick. We are transitioning to a nonprofit status. Our paperwork is laying on my desk, and we are filling it out as we go.
What are you now?
What?
What are you now?
We are a for-profit.
Okay.
We are transitioning to that nonprofit status. We started it as a for-profit, for one reason, and it's we wanted to have the ability to address some things in the community that maybe is harder for a nonprofit to be able to fund. If somebody approached the project and needed ride shares because they can't get to work, we wanted to be able to just, here's you some vouchers, you're getting it this day, and I'm gonna make it happen right now. We also wanted to see if it was a need in the community, a go-between. Our mantra is bridging the gap. We bridge the gap in any aspect that you need, whether it be just giving you a phone number that you can call, giving you a form that you can, an intake form onto that Unitas platform so you can get your resources that you need through that platform. Or if you're a young entrepreneur and you don't know where to start, I'm going to get you connected with Doug over here, and we're going to have a meeting at Joplin Avenue Coffee Company. I'm going to introduce you face to face. For the first 5 minutes, I'm going to kind of explain what we talked about, and then I'm going to politely excuse myself and let Doug finish the talking. You did great at it. Funding. I personally have been keeping the project afloat for the most part. We have a signature event every year.
We had our 3rd annual back to school bash at Spiva Art Center this past August. We have one coming up next August at Spiva. So we find sponsors that will sponsor the venue, because it's $1,200. That hurts. We pay all of our musicians if they come do an event for us. We have 5 bands come perform at that event. So we need to have money to be able to afford those bands, because as a musician, I know what it's like to go perform, carry all your equipment in, do a 30, 45 minute set, and it's a great cause, but also I need gas money. It is what it is. Gas is not as cheap as it once was. But, so for the most part, we do some fundraising for our signature event. But when it comes to the day-to-day activities of affording the website and affording the things that we need to operate from a day-to-day, I have been covering them for the most part. Honestly, I think I have put in over, I think $6,000 in the past 2 or 3 years since we started, just because I want to see it go in a direction.
As it came back?
I don't get anything from the project. None of us receive any money from the project. We have an open book policy. If somebody approaches us who thinks that something might be going on, we will provide our books. Yep.
So does the business, because it's business, does it generate money on its own, or is it all from sponsors and funding?
It's all from sponsors and funding. The only quote paid event that we might do is if we come in and completely set up an event for you and cater it, and we don't make any money back from that. We pay our materials. We operate this way so that whenever we transition into that nonprofit status, we don't have a huge hiccup and a huge design change. Every year we come back a little different. The first year we were getting our name out. Second year we were getting the expression side of things put up. This year we were hitting the resources hard. Just our resources hit the 200 area. When we add Unitas platform, another 200. And we're always getting new resources. If I see something that looks like it would be a great resource, I call them that week usually. If I'm scrolling on Facebook and I see, wow, that's actually really cool. There is a shop in Carthage. It's a local nonprofit, and they have some forms to fill out, but they are structured for single mothers, disabled individuals, and veterans. If you can't afford to have your car work done at a shop, you go up there, and there's a lot of stuff they can do for you for free. Yes.
Okay, so I think this presentation was really great. Loved hearing about it. I do have a question about who attends and how you structure your events, because it's all ages, but then you say high school, college, and all ages. Do you have specific events for high school age students, college age students, and adults?
We
Just
do.
because, okay, I was trying to think to myself, I can't imagine talking about my issues with a high schooler, and I don't think a high schooler wants to talk to their issues about to me.
I
either,
completely
because-
understand.
And that's not necessarily about, I was just curious about how
Yeah.
that works for the nonprofit and
Yeah.
how you structure
So we tailor each event for a certain curated subject or certain curated audience. We did a create and sip over at Third and Wall, and it was tailored towards 21 up. Come, do your art, bring a bottle of wine, and simply exist with other people your age. We have done hangout nights where it was 18 plus, because I wanted to ask what kind of resources they needed, what are they dealing with on a day-to-day, maybe in college, maybe in the workplace, and I couldn't really have some of those conversations with the younger adults. but also we're gonna be doing some family nights coming up. We're also going to be partnering with Building Bridges.
Oh, yeah, that was gonna be my next question, okay, very good.
We're gonna be partnering with Building Bridges coming up this next year. We're actually gonna do a sort of a summit style where we bring in household amenities, washer, dryer, stove, and I'll actually set up some displays of sheetrock that have been damaged. And we're gonna give lessons, a quick crash course lessons on how to operate your washer and dryer, because not everybody knows how to do that. The amount of college age students or somebody that just gets out of the system that's been in the system for so long that they don't remember how to do it. I have a lot of conversations of just simple how to operate a washer and dryer, how to clean your lint tray so you don't catch fire and explode. As well as, hey, I am out on my own for the first time. How do I cook a meal without having to go eat out? Simple ingredients can be turned into a lot of different meals. And if you're on a tight budget, you need to know how to do that. Or, hey, the trap on my sink is clogged. Who do I call? You don't need to call anybody. Let's walk you through how to clean the trap on your sink. Take it off, dump it out, clean it out, and then let's talk about how to not do that and get it clogged in the future. There's a couple things that you can do. Or, hey, I am in a rental right now and it happened, I tripped over the coffee table and I put a hole in my wall. And I cannot call my landlord. Okay? I would recommend calling your landlord and letting you know that you're going to be taking care of it. Just from the construction side of me, the liability of, there's a procedure you do, but I'm going to also teach you how to fix drywall holes.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yep.
Okay. So, you're running this as a for-profit right now, you're moving to a nonprofit status, very cool. How do you, and you work full-time, I mean, you have
I do.
a day gig.
Almost 60 hours a week.
60 hours a week. How do you manage it for your own mental health?
Yep.
It's a big undertaking, it's a full-time job to do something like this. Are you looking for volunteers? Are you looking for paid employees? What's going on there?
We have an advisory board currently, and each role is designated tasks. I delegate. I'm great at delegating. I love delegation. Delegation is great. We have somebody that all he takes care of is posting the events on Facebook and then showing up to those events and being a smiling face and making sure everybody feels welcome. We have a consultant that kind of gives us a guide on what would be a good idea and what would actually be a terrible idea and don't do it. As well as somebody who is researching grants and researching things for when we do transition to that status, we can get on things. So to answer your question, we're always looking for a helping hand. And another reason we started as that for-profit was we can set up our team so that we don't have to start from scratch whenever we hit that status.
Yeah. Now, and how do people sign up to be a volunteer?
You
Is
can
there more?
want to sponsor, partner with a project. You can email us with that link. You can reach out to our Facebook page, or you can just text or call me if you have my number. My number's out there in a lot of things. Yep.
So how do people either apply or get connected with you or whatever? I mean,
Yep. So
they have an application process or what?
So essentially, if you want to partner or you need resources, all of our links, all of our buttons right there, make kind of a pre-generated message that gets sent to our email within 15 seconds. we get notified on our devices within 15 seconds of an email, of anything coming through our messenger page, our Instagram page. We are notified, so that when our turnaround is within the same day usually. Yes.
Okay, sorry, I've got a lot of questions.
Love it. I love questions. Makes my time go faster.
What would you say a pain point volunteer-wise is for you guys? Like, is there something that you would really like to see happen, but you don't have a subject matter expert to come in and help you?
Media.
Okay.
That was quick and easy. Media. I can do social media posts, but I'm also really busy. And my take on social media is, hey guys, look at all this fun stuff we're doing.
Sure.
And just kick it out there and hope it sticks. Really, that's our biggest need right now, is somebody who can help us set up a plan, help with media posts, content, or something simple as engagement. Does that answer your question? Are you sure?
Yes, go ahead, someone else can
All
ask
right,
questions.
yes.
Are you guys, tapped in with the, like, probation and parole and those, and the, like, the jails and that community?
We have a-
Stay out of trouble?
We do have a couple people that is connected with that, specifically. I work with several different caseworkers and a different probation officer. Would we like to be more invested in that system? Absolutely. We are waiting specifically for things of that nature for when we hit that status. Because there are certain things that we can and can't do.
I ask because,
Right.
because what you guys, what you said you provide
Yep,
are things that matter the most to recidivism.
correct.
You know, the things that you said you provide and the resources that you have and that you offer
Yep.
are some of the most vital things to keep people out of jail.
Right.
You know, like they're getting an ID.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many people I know that can't stay free
Yes.
because they can't get an ID?
Yep.
They're literally back in prison in 3 months because they
Right.
never got an ID.
We partner with the Alliance, and we refer to the Alliance on the IDs more specifically. We don't necessarily have as many resources as we would like to be able to hit it head on. We can only address things if it's being brought to us at this point.
The resources that
Yep.
you said you provide
Mhm.
are the exact resources that are needed.
Correct. We need
Don't
the
sell yourself
manpower.
short, That's what I'm saying. The
Yeah.
manpower there.
The manpower is what we need to be able to address those issues.
Have you ever talked to the Joplin Job Center?
We haven't made it there yet. They're on the list. Our list is,
Very good.
our list is, there's a TV show on Saturday mornings called Cusco. And he unrolled a scroll one time and it went out the building, down the stairs, and it's kind of how we feel sometimes. We just take it one step at a time.
I would recommend talking with them. They do have a gentleman there, if you are trying to target the justice involved
Yes.
population,
Mhm.
his name's Peter Jason, and if you get you in contact with him, he is very knowledgeable, very great.
Cool.
Works with a lot of the similar organizations that you do. I think he goes to the Rock on Thursdays
Right.
to do outreach, and try to help people get IDs, get into trainings,
Right.
positions, jobs, and it kind of sounds like that'd be a good partnership for you.
We partner with The Rock on a lot of things.
I don't know, I think he goes to the Rock, it might be somewhere else, I'd have to ask him. but,
Right.
That would be a really great contact.
Awesome. Doug?
So, just to help bring some clarity on this, and full disclosure, I'm one of the board members on the advisory committee. And then I also serve as the liaison for the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Group for the Chamber. So there's collaboration between the two of those. But first point I want to make is, even though legally the non-permitted project is operating as a for-profit, all the books are transparent, everything's wide open, and logistically, the organization is operating as a nonprofit. It's just not registered with the state of Missouri as a not-for-profit.
Right.
The Back to School Bash, that is alcohol and drug-free. We have JPD on site as well. The purpose of that is to have something that would draw that younger crowd in, to enjoy good music, but to also be exposed to the fact that there's a group here that will listen to you regardless of what you've got going on up here or here. Or if you feel like you can't talk to anybody about a mental health issue because you think it's taboo, the idea is to expose you to this organization that says you can sit at this table. You don't need to be making any decisions that are like that. You've got people here for you. So that's the purpose of that. And the sponsors, I see it as community investors, because all of us at one point in time will suffer a mental health injury. All of us. I don't care who you are. That's part of the human experience down here. You will go through something that will test you to your core. So when that happens, are you only going to get help if you are connected to a faith-based organization? Are you only going to get help if you have health insurance? Well, if that's the case, what about everybody in the middle? And that is bridging the gap. So, yeah, there's a lot of passion in this organization, and I think the potential, the beautiful thing in the world, if we lived in a perfect John Lennon world, there wouldn't be a need for the non-permitted. But nonetheless, here we are. So, personally in this community, suicide has been up close and personal. And the other day I watched a documentary, and I knew there were some suicides after the Joplin tornado, but I had no idea that there were 18 of them directly related within a week after. And how sad is it that we are as a society that we count the 161 that passed during the weather event, but 3 days later, somebody dealing with the loss of everything in their life takes their own life. They're a victim of that tornado too. So that's what raising that conversation. So speaking of the conversation, the collaboration between the EDI, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Group with the Chamber, and the non-permitted, is that the EDI group on a quarterly basis has an event called Courageous Conversations, of which Kyle spoke at the last time. And the idea behind Courageous Conversations is to bring people to a community event that we may have dinner and just make it and let everybody know that they're welcome. And we don't care if they're the most radical conspiracy person you can think of politically, or the most liberal person on the political spectrum, or where they're at on anything else or any subject, so that everybody can speak and feel like they're being heard, because the operative word in all of that is to listen to understand, not listen to respond. So for example, at the last one, Kyle spoke and talked about his path, his journey, his recovery, and then also prior to that, we had the local imam from the Islamic Society present, and I learned a lot about Islam that I didn't know before. I happen to be a Christ follower, but it's important to know who your neighbors are and what they're thinking and believing. And the more we look at each other in the face and discuss calmly our differences, no matter how hardcore fundamental they are, if we can work toward understanding each other, that's where we're going to make progress. So that's why the non-permitted is so important for the community. Thank you for my rant.
Well, thank you. That's why we keep you around. We love your rants. I have time for a short question before I have to head on to my next appointment for the day. Does anybody have anything? You look like you had one earlier.
No, I was just gonna say I think it's great, and I do think people are craving connection, and this is perfect. Especially post-COVID, I think people are craving connection, but they don't know how to put themselves out there, and I love this.
All of our events, we've had a couple that nobody showed up to, but we stayed the entire time just in case.
Yeah, that's great.
It feels very approachable,
Yep.
where a lot of stuff doesn't.
We,
A
tr-
lot of stuff doesn't feel approachable, this does.
we try to be, because if we're not approachable, how can we bridge a gap? And if that means we need to do it on a setting that's not group oriented on the website, there's a couple different options, just let us know. And I'll go grab coffee with you, I'll buy you coffee at Joplin Avenue. We'll go sit in the back room, kind of away from people. Or if it's something that needs a conference area, I will specifically rent out a conference room. So, on the approachable status, I want people to approach me that I've never met before, that have heard about the project and might need something. So that means I wear a smile all day, every day.